For most of us, life was back to normal within days or weeks of the marathon bombings. But for hundreds of victims and their families, that will never be true. Among them, Paul and J.P. Norden, brothers from Stoneham who both lost their right leg. The past 12 months have brought plenty of disappointment. They'd hoped to be back on the basketball court by now, but aren't quite ready. But there have been triumphs, too. They co-wrote a book titled Twice as Strong, due out this month. And they're about to open a roofing business together. And while the Nordens are anxious to move past the events of April 15th, they recently sat down with me to share their story. A year ago this time, Paul and J.P. Norden had just been laid off their jobs as sheet metal workers. That meant the two could hang out at the Boston Marathon, cheering on a buddy who was running. They were just outside the Forum restaurant near the finish line when they heard the first bomb go off.
People were, crying. Some people were scared. Other people didn't know what it was. I thought it was a gas explosion. I thought the manhole cover blew off, and, it's just that was it. But a friend of ours was like, all right, we got to get in the street. So when we huddled up, and that was going to be our plan, and we just didn't make it.
Exactly 12 seconds passed before the second explosion. Do you remember rescue people coming to help you?
Yeah. I was laying on the sidewalk. I thought it took them a while to get to me, but they really didn't. I mean, it was seconds, but it felt like minutes when you're laying there and you're hurt and whatever. But, yeah, they all huddled around. People were taking their shirts off, whatever they had, scarves for tourniquets. I had a bunch on both legs, and they did a damn good job with me, I think, anyways. But they're the ones that really saved us, I think.
And they were just people in the crowd, right?
I know the first person that rushed over me told me he was former military, but yeah, he's a civilian,
And the amazing thing about those people was that they didn't run away. They ran towards us, and you figure two went off, there's going to be more. I would have thought that. Laying on the ground, I thought there was going to be more. So, I mean, those guys and women, they're brave people.
You both said you were kind of aware right at that second that something terrible had happened. You were aware.
I was so hurt, and I just looked over and I saw him. I was yelling to him, and he couldn't hear me and stuff. And I saw his leg off, but I saw him sitting up, and I could only see him from the side, so I didn't see that he had burns and stuff up here and everything. And he looked fine. He stopped, besides his leg being off, but he looked like nothing was even really bothering him. That's what it looked like to me, anyways. But so I knew he lost his leg, and I knew he was hurt, but I didn't know how bad.
Did you know right away that you had lost a leg also? I
knew, yeah, because when the first went off, I was confused, but I thought I got punched. I didn't know, and I was rolling around, and when I tried to get up, I tried to put this foot into the ground, and I couldn't. It was gone.
So you were both able to give your names, and you were conscious enough.
I called my mom.
You called your mom?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I didn't want to say too much because I didn't want to worry my mom. Because I know, she's not. She loves us so much. She'd be devastated. So I didn't want to tell too much. But I knew, obviously I saw my leg off and stuff, so I knew, how bad I was hurt.
My phone was gone. I think it blew up. I don't know what happened to it. So I couldn't call my phone, and I actually knew my best friend's number and my girlfriend's off the top of my head. Anyone else's I didn't. You put them in your cell phone these days and you don't know anything.
You said you only had a pint of blood left. You could see that you were bleeding out.
Well, I started getting dizzy and stuff, and I knew that wasn't good. So I knew that I would, and this whole leg was ripped open from just above my knee to my thigh, and it was, flapped open. I could see that's where I was losing most blood from. And I knew I was in rough shape. I didn't know how rough, but I knew I wasn't doing, not too good.
Paul and J.P. have recently penned a book, Twice as Strong, recounting their lives before and after the 2013 Boston Marathon. As it turns out, neither brother really knew what happened to the other that day until they read those portions of the book.
When I was reading the book and saw what he had to go through, it made me cry, and it was just tough to read, to see like what he went through, and then like just to, like in general hearing all the other stuff that went on, because I was in a medically induced coma, so I missed like the first week of April 15th to like the 22nd, so I didn't know what happened.
Writing the book, was that cathartic for you at all?
The book was like, I think it was therapeutic for all of us a little bit. You know, we all got to hear everyone's side of everything. Even to this day, like we haven't sat down and talked about the whole thing, you know, because that was really our focus from the beginning, was just moving on with this, putting it behind us. And I think, you know, we've done a good job of that. But the book was interesting to hear everybody's side.
In terms of adjusting to having, you know, a prosthetic leg, do you still think about it every day, or has it become a routine for you?
Unfortunately, yeah, we have to think about it every day, because when we get up in the morning, we have to put our leg on. I'm still sore all the time, and you know, for him being above the knee just to walk, he has to do things differently.
This winter was pretty tough, you know. It was difficult the first couple snowstorms, and then like it's hard on black ice for either one of us, you know. But we'll get used to it and we'll adjust.
What's it been like to go through this together? Most people have had to do this alone.
I hate to say it this way, but like I'm glad, like in a sense, that I get to go through it with him, because it makes it a lot easier. But obviously, it's sad to see him be injured.
Yeah, I mean, we have different injuries too. You know, his was above the knee, mine's below, so it was different. You know, he has to do things differently with his leg, the way he's got to go upstairs and stuff like that. But it was helpful to us.
The Norden brothers each received $1.2 million from the One Fund. While it sounds like a lot, each artificial leg costs around $150,000, and they will need many more over the years. Still, that tax-free gift has made life easier.
The One Fund, I think, was, you know, like, it helps, like, relax you, because, like, you know, with our legs every 3 to 5 years, paying for those obviously adds up a great deal, and you know, so it like relax you in that sense, knowing that you don't really have to worry, that like you can afford to pay for your leg.
And also, like, would they get 60-something million in a fund? Like, that was from, you know, people. That wasn't from, you know, anyone else. It was, God, I mean, how can you ask somebody or a group of people to give $60 million? That's pretty amazing.
Now, you both said at the time that you really weren't interested in talking about who did this, but having put a year behind you now, are you more interested? Are you interested in the trial?
Nah.
I just think the justice system will do what it's going to do, and we have no control, so that's my answer. You know, I have nothing. I don't even think of the kid.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we look at it as like, you know, this person did this or whatever, but we couldn't control it that day, and I don't even think about the marathon ever, you know.
Is there anything, sounds kind of strange, but positive that's come out of this for you guys?
Yeah, a ton. A lot of stuff. I myself got a different outlook in life with people, and really, you know, not that you don't realize it, but you get a lot. People are good. I mean, from giving you just, you know, what they thought about you and this and that, and how good of friends we had. And, you know, we've gotten a lot of opportunities. We got to meet a lot of new people, you know, special people. And that stuff was, like, for one bad thing that happened to us, and of course it was a real bad thing, but we got a lot of good out of it.
All the people we got to meet that, like, and all the people that want to, like, still to this day, a year later, want to help us. And just, and like you said, a positive outlook on life now, like a real positive outlook.
As for that nagging question about this year's marathon,
as of right now, I am planning on going back.
And where are you going to be? Have you thought about that?
With all the reports, I'd rather not say.
How about you, JP? You going to go?
I'm just playing it like I did last year. I didn't know I was really going until like the night before. It's the way I am with things. I just wing it. So I really don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. But if I feel like going, I'll go. If If I don't, I won't.
Fair enough. All right, and one final note to this story. The Norden brothers recuperated at their mother's home in Stoneham. And earlier this month, one of Paul and J.P.'s sisters entered Liz Norden into the Unstoppable Mom contest on the Live with Kelly and Michael show. Viewers decided the winner based on testimonials like this one.
My brother and I were taken to 2 different hospitals.
A lot was going through my mind. I don't think I could comprehend what I was being told, but I was so happy that they were alive, that nothing else really matters. When they got out of rehab, there was no doubt in my mind they were coming home to be with me. They were coming home to, recuperate at my house.
Yeah, when my brothers were ready to get out of rehab, they didn't have a choice. They were coming home with Mom no matter what.
Well, no surprise to Paul and J.P., Liz Norden won first place in the Unstoppable Mom contest, taking home a $100,000 award along with a family trip to Disney World. Your sister told your story, right? I mean, so what made your mom so special in your story, in your lives?
And she did everything for us. She was, running back and forth between our hospitals, or when he was in rehab and I was in the hospital, going back and forth and doing that. She was basically our bodies for a while here. She had to carry stuff for us, do everything. So that was, basically it. Her story, too.
She had to give up work. She couldn't even...
Everything. She had, to watch 2 of us. Literally did everything for us.